Alright guys, so Fula with another video. Shout outs to the whole LDBC. So in this video I kinda wanna cook off a little bit of like what entails like a master teacher from, my understanding from me being brought up in the esoteric system in which I was brought up in. The thing is with a master teacher is that usually a master teacher is not going to say they're a master teacher. That's the first and foremost thing. They're not going to broadcast their talents. They're not going to let people know that they are a master teacher. They're usually quite hidden, and they want to keep it that way because they know that if they were not hidden, that ego could get to their head, and the fame could get to their head, celebrity status could get to their head, so they would rather be hidden and not be in the spotlight. Unfortunately with the internet, it has given charlatans a spotlight, and it has given people the freedom to exercise their demons, basically, so with that being said, we see this, of course, with Natureboy, and the thing is I mean, you shouldn't like, how should I put it? You shouldn't make claims, and your life is not a reflection of your claims. Usually, if your life is not a reflection of your claims, you're basically falsifying information. Now, the thing is also usually a master teacher has like a system in which was passed down from generation to generation that continues on through them. That, for example, like my teacher, who has left this earth, we call him Serene Tuba. Serene Tuba, he wrote 7 tons of writings, and those 7 tons of writings have now reached us, fortunately, and we can refer to these writings for anything we need when it comes to like the practicalities of life, when it comes to even the unseen world, to access that. Those writings have those keys in there for that, but the thing is in order for him to have written those 7 tons of writings, he had teachers. They had teachers. Those on top of them had teachers. Those on top of them had teachers. And it was just a chain of teachers that went back to the source, and the source being the Most High. A master teacher is not going to like just come out with knowledge out of their head. They're not going to just be like, oh, I was inspired to say this. Oh, I got direct inspiration to say what I'm saying. This doesn't happen. Um, the thing is also, a master teacher is very, very much, unfortunately, usually he's going to have to go through adversity, but in that adversity, he has to stand on the shield, and he has to be, how shall I put it, having the utmost composure, meaning that he can't even like show a sign of like, how shall I put it, show a sign of despair in his adversity. Can't say that about Natureboy. I mean, we saw what happened when he went to Costa Rica and got hemmed up. Saw what happened when his medical bill situation. We saw what happened when he what's another instance with the hair cutting and stuff like that. No patience was really shown in that situation. And so the thing is, to a master teacher is going to elevate you spiritually. They're going to basically make you, transform you. They're going to rid you of your vices, they're going to teach you to fight the enemies that are inside of you, meaning greed, hatred, passion, violence, deceit. These stand in the way of you actually getting God realization. These things block you from God realization. What you see from Natureboy, however, is that he embraces greed, hatred, passion, violence due to what he does to his so quote unquote wives, and also deceit. I mean, there's many examples of his deceit. We're having a natural birth, messes around and has a birth in a hospital and says everything is nature. Don't cut your hair, it's an antenna, it connects to this, that, and the other. Cuts his hair. This is my wife 1 week. Next week, she's not my wife. The week after, oh, this is my wife. And so this is what we see. So no way in hell, he can be a master teacher. Also, work is a central part of a master teacher. And what I mean by work is that it can be manual labor, like say you're planting, you're let's just say you're involved in some kind of labor. It can be working and studying, like studying, studying is a form of work, because you're studying for the bigger picture, be it if you're an engineer, in training, be it if you're a musician in training, being if you're any kind of trade in training, that work is going towards you elevating, basically. And so in my system that was passed down to me, the quote is, work as if you will never depart the world and pray as if you were to die tomorrow. So this is why we have to do that, you know. Another thing too is I mean, with the with with the master teacher, I'm just gonna keep it a buck. I'm gonna keep it 100% real. A master teacher usually, I want to say, is like a Morpheus, you know. He has things that can't be explained by the human mind, you know. My master teacher, or well, I should say one of my master teachers, who I still follow to this day, although he's off the earth right now, and he's, you know, he's passed on, but his teachings still resonate today. Because we have a saying that says, you know, basically that, you know, don't say that these people were slain in the way of God, you know. No, they are alive, but you know not. And so what that means is that a master teacher's gonna leave behind teachings that are going to last for like generations, you know. They're going to leave a legacy that is going to, you know, basically, you know, that's going to be passed down. And so, a master teacher, you know, he has, I want to say, some hidden abilities. This was a quote from a French colonial officer about my master teacher when we were in the period of first colonialization, and we had to unfortunately answer to the French. You know, this is what he said, basically. I'm not going to quote the whole thing, but he said, and I'm just quoting, he said, Bamba is gifted with some innate power whose origin the human mind cannot understand. So basically, you know, if you get rid of all those things I was talking about, that those are veils. And once those veils are off, the sky's the limit, literally, you know. It's really the limit, you know. And so when that limit, when the limit is gone, you know, when you no longer have the limit, then you can do whatever you want, basically, you know. What I mean by that is, I'm not trying to incite anything Okay, I'm really not trying to give you guys any ideas, but what I'm saying is that if a human being overcomes the lower desires, then they are able to basically be Neo, meaning they're able to do things that bend the laws of physics at times, that the human mind can't grasp, and the like thereof. So we haven't seen anything close from Natureboy. I mean, the only thing we've seen is just, the opposite, you know. Another thing, a master teacher usually has a light. Their face has light on it, like when you look at their face, you're like, wow, their face is so lighting, their face illuminates, and their face illuminates so much that it just draws you to them, And so that's why my teacher, he had a big following, and now there's a city that he created, that still has his followers, It started off as a nothing city, but now it's one of the biggest cities we have. So, I say this to say that when I look at Natureboy's face, there's nothing really appealing about it. I mean, his face is twisted. It looks like, I don't know, like it's like twisted in, basically. I don't know really how to describe it. It looks like, I don't know if you guys pay attention to that movie Spawn. There was a movie Spawn, and it came out in movie theaters, and then the guy who was Spawn, he got burnt. Then, he had to make a pact with the devil to come back, because he wanted to see his wife. But, he ended up on the side of good when it came down to it. But his face, though, it was like deformed, disfigured. And that's the way I look at, I want to say Natureboy. That's unfortunately the way his face looks, That's why it's not really a good idea to go live with him, because, that may reflect, And then the final thing, a master teacher is usually going to have universal lessons for everybody, not just one group of people. He's going to transcend every single people, but maybe his lessons will gravitate towards a certain group of people more than others due to the simple fact that he's from those people, so it's natural for that to happen. But other groups are going to be like, this guy knows something, I gotta keep an eye out for him. Like I gotta really, take heed and pay attention. So that's another thing about like a master teacher, So with all that said, what I'm trying to get at is that if a master teacher does not help you defeat your baseless desires, does not elevate you spiritually, does not make you better, does not, open you up to a divine experience with the Most High, then it's not a master teacher. And another thing too, a master teacher ain't gonna call himself God. That's just the bottom line. He's gonna lead you to God, but he ain't gonna call himself God. So with that being said, that's all I got for now as I sip my coffee on this gloomy Sunday, but we're still going. I'm about to go do some work because work is part of worship, So leave your thoughts, leave your comments. That's all I got. Enjoy them.